Hey guys, welcome to my 4th February weekly wrap-up. The last week of February I got through 4 things, and I got a little bit farther into something else, but the first thing that I got through, actually the first 2 things that I got through, were the second 2 books of the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, The Reptile Room and The Wide Window, and I really enjoyed these. I was kind of on the fence about how much I enjoyed the first one. I did like it, but it wasn't like my favorite thing ever, but I really liked the second one a lot. The second one was a big improvement, I think, and I think that was mostly due to Uncle Monty, who the orphans go and live with, and I think I really want the orphans to be happy, and they're never going to be happy, and I just kind of have to accept that, and I think that might be why Lemony Snicket wrote the second book the way he did. They gives you a little glimmer of hope with Uncle Monty, and then shuts you down completely, and just solidifies in your brain that no, these kids are never going to get to be happy. Get over it and deal with it. And I'm fine with that, I guess. I didn't really like the third book as much as the second book. I still liked it. I still had fun with it. They were both a lot of fun. The adult that they're staying with in the third book is not as interesting to me as Uncle Monty was in the second one. She kind of annoyed me a bit, and I didn't find Count Olaf to be quite as interesting in the third one as I did in the other 2. I'm pretty sure that I gave the second one 4 stars and the third one a 3 or 3.5, which is about the same. I liked about the same as the first one. I really liked the second one though, and I am really excited to continue on with the series. I have like 4 or 5 of them checked out on Overdrive right now, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the week that I'm going to just sit and binge listen to all of them right in a row while I'm at work. I'm pretty sure I can listen to all of them in one day. The next thing that I listened to was technically supposed to be a buddy read with a bunch of different booktubers, and Giselle and I read it. That was pretty cool. Giselle and I got to read this book together and talk about it quite frequently. But we really didn't have we had a buddy reading chat on Voxer and stuff, and no one really used it. I'm not sure if anyone else besides the 2 of us read it, and that is Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I have somewhat mixed feelings on this book. This was a slow burner for me. I think I wasn't that excited to listen to it. After listening to the first bit, it didn't intrigue me right at the beginning, and each time that I would stop listening to it, I wasn't that excited to keep on listening to it. But eventually, as I got farther through it, I did become more interested. I think it's just because the main character, she has just been taken out of the life that she's kind of been grown up into to go off and be the queen. I mean, she was raised to be this. Her mother set her up to be raised by these 2 people, this woman and this man, as they're growing up, and then she was trained to be queen basically. And when her mother dies, which she does, though she's already dead when the book starts, then this girl named Kelsey Glynn is taken to be the new Queen of Tearling, and it's pretty much assumed right away that she's going to get killed. Someone's going to assassinate her. She's not going to last very long, and she doesn't really change people's perceptions at the beginning of that fact through her personality, though she does have a pretty interesting personality at times. She really loves to read. That's a good thing. And it's one thing that we get to hear about all the time. She's really insecure about her looks, which is really weird to me because she was raised away from mirrors. Every time she would try to be vain, because her mother was really vain, and the people that were raising her didn't want her to be vain, so kept her away from mirrors and kept her away from vain things. I have no idea where she got, and she just lived with these 2 people her whole life. I have no idea where she got her perceptions of beauty from, and why she thinks she's so plain, and why she cares. Who gives a crap? You're the queen, get over it. One point when she's on her way to becoming queen, they're transporting her to this place to become queen, she gets in the situation where she's with this guy, and all she can think about is how attractive he is and how unattractive she is, and she has no idea who he is whatsoever, but she's super attracted to him and can't stop thinking about him, and it's really stupid and really silly and really turned me off from the character and the book for quite a while, until she does some really cool stuff a little bit after that. She eventually becomes a really cool, a really good character. I'm really glad with how her character panned out throughout the book. She really does a good job of putting herself out there. She does a good job of doing her best to do what she needs to do to be the best queen that she can be. She doesn't exactly know what she's doing, and people don't really feel like she's the best fit for this. They don't really respect her all that much. She kind of attempts to earn their respect. She kind of does her best to do the things that she thinks is right as a queen. And she does it while people are constantly trying to kill her and just undermine her and just all this crazy stuff. And overall, I do feel like this book was pretty driven by Kelsey's character and her character development, although there are a lot of interesting ideas, and this is a very strange world this is set in. It's set in our world, and in fact, like, things like books that we know about are mentioned, like the Bible and like Harry Potter are like mentioned, and just various things from our world are mentioned. This is like an alternate future kind of thing. I don't know, I don't want to call it dystopian because I don't feel like it's necessarily dystopian, even though it is kind of messed up. Anyway, I did end up liking this. I ended up liking the way it went towards the end. I really liked the last like third or fourth of the book, and I'm kind of happy with how it ended. So all in all, I did give it 4 stars and did enjoy it well enough, and I am definitely going to be picking up the second one and giving it a shot, and hopefully it progresses the story and Kelsey's character even more and doesn't fall into the pitfalls that this book fell into sometimes. And the last thing that I got through, that I finished this past week, was Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kepnes. This is the sequel to You, which I'm sure you've heard of plenty about on BookTube. I talked about it before. Obviously, I read it last year and had very mixed feelings on it, it was a repeated experience this time. Very mixed feelings on this. The thing is, it is very well written. This book specifically, I think I like this one better than the first one, actually. I did give the first one 3 stars, and I gave it 3 stars because of how messed up it is. Morally, I don't know how to feel about what is happening, but it's still an enjoyable thing to read, which is really messed up to think and feel, and I was so mixed on what I was feeling. I kind of wanted to give it 1 star, I kind of wanted to give it 5 star. It was one of the most indecisive books and ratings I had to give last year. And then the audiobook is just fantastic, and the audiobook for Hidden Bodies was also fantastic. And I do think I like this book better. I do really like the mechanic of using second person in the first book, but this book switches to first person and just like follows the main character Joe in first person this time. It takes place after the events of the first one, and Joe has this new girl he's into, and then suddenly things happen and he's not into her anymore, and he follows her across the country to basically go kill her. And it goes crazy from there. There's so many unexpected things in this book. I had literally no idea what was going to happen next in this book. He just went from one thing to another thing. Joe is such a sporadic person that it's like things just set him off. All of a sudden he like goes off in a different direction that you don't think he's going to go in. He's like focused on one thing, and then something happens, and then it like pushes his focus towards this other thing while he's still like bitter about the other thing that he was bitter about. I don't know, he's one of the craziest characters I have ever read, and definitely ever read from the perspective of, and he is insane, and I don't know how to feel about him. He's so weirdly charismatic to the other characters in the book. It's really difficult to define how I feel morally about this book, because I feel like throughout the book, Joe, no matter who you are, no matter what you think and believe and whatever, when you're reading this book, Joe will say something that you end up agreeing with in some way, and you're like, yeah, Joe, and like makes you start feeling for him, start rooting for him, and then you suddenly realize all the crazy stuff that he does and all the craziness that he is as a person, and you question yourself, and it's really, really weird. And just overall, this is definitely one of the most compelling books I have ever read. Honestly, I literally did not want to stop reading this, or I couldn't stop reading it. I had to know what was going to happen, but at the same time, it was borderline pornographic at times, and I kind of hate that about it, but also love the compelling sides, and kind of following Joe is one of the most engrossing things I've ever read, but it also disgusted me a lot. So I also gave this one 3 stars, more like a 3.5. This time, I think just the story alone was much better than the first one, just because it was way more surprising to me and like way more intense. But overall, very mixed feelings once again, and I can't imagine that's ever going to change. I don't know if there's going to be more books in the series. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's going to be more. I don't know what else she's going to have Joe do that could possibly be any worse, or I don't know what's going to happen to his character at all. But I am excited to know what's going to happen next with Joe, but at the same time I'm kind of dreading to know what he does next. But I know I'm going to be reading the next book that comes out in the series regardless. So that's everything that I finished. I did get a little bit more through this. This is Heirs of the Queen, Mercedes Lackey. I've just not been reading physical books. I've been way too busy with just working on a lot of stuff. I have a full-time job. I work on videos a lot, mostly our vlog, and Giselle and I are planning and going to be starting a Let's Play channel. We are kind of making content right now and going to start releasing that on the 1st of April, and we're like really pumped for it and really pushing to work on that. And so I haven't been reading very many physical books. So I'm hoping actually to finish that one by the end of the week. I think I can. Pretty far through it, and I'm really, really liking it, like I said last week. And I'm also about halfway through The Shining Girls, which I'm also really liking. It's very interesting. It's like a time travel detective crime killer story. And there's a couple more things, a little bit of a book haul. Giselle and I went to a used bookstore, a thrift store, this past weekend, and I got a few things that I just wanted to show you. Just wanted to haul real quick. I got this book. It's called Dies the Fire by S.M. Tearling. It says it's a novel of the change. It's like the first book in the series that Steve was actually telling me about when we were at the Boston Public Library book sale and stuff like that, like in that vlog that we did. And ever since we talked about it, I've been like looking for it, and I found it at this thrift store and got it because it sounds really interesting, and I think I'm definitely going to be reading this soon. I have those books that I showed in my last haul, the Fin Fancy Necromancy books that I would like to read after I finish the Mercedes Lackey book, and then after the first one of those I'm going to try to start reading this because I'm like super interested in reading that soon. And I also found this. It's the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, and it's like a mystery detective kind of thing, and it's apparently really good. I like looked up the Goodreads rating and like Goodreads reviews and stuff, and apparently it's good, and I'm intrigued by it. And then I got, this is like the worst cover ever, but I got Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash. I really want to read some Neil Stephenson. I read like the first chapter of 70s a while ago and loved it, and I've been like wanting to read that book ever since. I've just been like waiting, but so I found this, and I've heard of Snow Crash before. It's like a sci-fi kind of staple now, so I just went ahead and got that. And then I also got this really cool old book of Alfred Hitchcock edited short stories. So he like got a bunch of short stories from a bunch of authors and put them together in a book. It's called Stories Not for the Nervous, and I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited to have it. And then a quick announcement. Last week on Thursday, Giselle and I did this really awesome, really great, like 2-hour-long live show on her channel. That was so much fun. We loved doing it. We had a few really great people in there with us, and it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. So we're actually going to be doing another live show this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on my channel this time. So make sure you look out for that. And then one more thing. I find that because I'm working so much on other stuff, I haven't had as much time to comment back to people on my videos as much as I want to, as much as I would really love to. So I've decided to do this new thing that I think will be really interesting and actually will be really fun. I'm just going to give it a test run for a few weeks and a few of these weekly wrap-ups and see how it goes. Basically, I'm going to answer comments from last week's weekly wrap-up and just kind of answer them on video because it's just going to take a lot less time to do that. Rather than I can actually interact with people, and I think it'll be a really cool, it will be an interaction that I haven't actually seen on BookTube where people just answer comments on video instead of through text and stuff. So I'm just going to go through a few of these comments from last week. Someone said, hey, this is first comment. That's the first time anyone has ever said first comment on any one of my videos, so that's kind of weird. Especially considering it's one of my least viewed videos in quite a while, that someone would actually think that was necessary to do that. Anyway, then Sarah Kemp said, it's great to see you back uploading regularly. Always enjoy your videos. Thank you very much, Sarah. I am very happy to be back uploading regularly too. At least one of these videos will come out every single week. I don't have a problem filming and getting up one of these videos every single week. It's the getting up other videos every single week, but there are lots of things that I want to upload that I just haven't. But I hopefully will. Liz from Lizad Books, who is great and is very active on our vlog channel as well, commented, I've been putting off Everything I Never Told You, and she just goes into saying that she doesn't like want to read it because of all the hype, and she hasn't really heard that many critical reviews of Everything I Never Told You, and so now she's not sure about it. But yeah, it's definitely a family drama. That's all I can say, is that Everything I Never Told You is a family drama above everything else, and if you don't like that, then it's very unlikely that you're going to like Everything I Never Told You. And then Melody commented on the Roger Ebert book that I talked about in the last video called Life Itself, and she just talks about how much she really liked Roger Ebert and really respected his opinion, really loved his reviews, and it was really sad that he's gone. And she also mentions the documentary about him that's also called Life Itself. See, I didn't know that existed until after I did that review and after I read the book and posted my weekly wrap-up, and now I really, really, really want to watch the documentary, and I think I'm going to do that really soon. Alexandra Bowden said basically that she hasn't really heard much about Mercedes Lackey on BookTube at all, other than the uncommon mention or two on here. And yes, I have not seen a single booktuber mention Mercedes Lackey before, which is really interesting because I didn't even know who she was, but then Giselle was like, I know this author and like I really want to collect all her books. And so we started collecting all her books, and now I'm like super intrigued by all of them because she's written so much. So I really want to read lots of her stuff. I'm really enjoying her writing in Arrows of the Queen right now, and I'm super excited to finish it. And I'm actually really going to do her review of that book when I'm done with it. It's like the review, all the other books that I've read so far this year, I want to do reviews of them, but I also haven't felt like doing reviews of them. But I really want to do a review of this because I think a lot of the books that I'm reading are like things that people already know about, but this one is something that I haven't heard anyone talk about, or haven't heard anyone say anything about at all, like even about the author, and it's something that I think a lot of booktubers would really like a lot. So that's a book that I'm definitely going to be doing a review of, for sure. And then Joe from Final Blow Joe says that I did a very enthusiastic mini review of Ella Enchanted, and yes, I did, because I was very enthusiastic about the book, mostly because Giselle and I talked about it quite a lot those few days leading up to that, and I had just edited and watched her review that she did of Ella Enchanted on her channel. That was really a really good review, and so I was super pumped to talk about it because I had been talking about it a lot with Giselle and was really excited to share my thoughts that I've been sharing with her with you guys. So if you haven't read Ella Enchanted and you don't think you're gonna like it, I would definitely give it a shot anyway because it is good. And he also just said that he read House last year and definitely wanted the other two, and I definitely suggest that. Don't go into too many high hopes in the second one, I don't feel like, but the third one is definitely on par with the first one, in my opinion. And Sarah without an H said something that is very on point and that Giselle, I know, would agree with. She basically said that Ella Enchanted is one of her favorite books, and that it's really sweet, but the Anne Hathaway movie is awful, and that it hurts her soul, and that's exactly how Giselle feels. And we were just talking about this earlier today, actually, how bad the Ella Enchanted movie is. And she said Mercedes Lackey is actually her mom's favorite author. That's really cool. I'd love to hear if your mom has any suggestions on which Mercedes Lackey books are her favorites, because like you said in your comment, no one reads her here, and I would love to have more suggestions from other people on what other books to read by her. So anyway, that's everything that I wanted to do today in this video. Let me know how you like the format of commenting on people's comments in the video itself. It might make the videos a little bit longer. This one had a live show announcement and a haul-in as well. Not every video is going to have that. And I had quite a bit to say about Creative Tearling and Hidden Body, so this video might have been a little bit long, but it's not every week is going to be like that. I'd probably just do a review real quick, tell you what I'm currently reading, and then do the answering the comments thing. So it'll be varying lengths from time to time. And there were so few comments on this one that I just wanted to answer all of them. I may not answer every single comment in the video if there are a lot of comments in any of the wrap-ups in the future. But yeah, just let me know how you felt about it. If you've read anything that I talked about in this video, let me know what you think. If there's anything else you wanted to comment on, let me know. Please feel free to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later with more.